hands together and welcome up Dave Wilson.
Hey, hey.
Hello. Dave, awesome to have you here. To kick things off, I'm quite keen just to give some context. Can you tell us a little bit about IT360 and your journey when it comes to AI?
Absolutely. So, as Luke was saying, we've been around 30 years, started by my parents, Vic and Ruth, back in '94. And we do IT for small to medium business. We just love it. And I've just been so lucky to grow up in a family business and absolutely passionate about technology, helping people, and seeing how I can help apply that tech to make business better.
And when it comes to AI, specifically over the last several years, you're very passionate. We've had a few coffees and I walk away inspired every time. Where did your journey start?
It probably did start, to be honest, in the family business. I think AI for me may be just a continuation of what I've always loved doing, which is how is technology, I've been so inquisitive and so led by my inspiration and my intuition around how I can apply technology to help people. And AI has been around a long time, and I've been very, very interested in AI and automation and other things. But when Gen AI came out in 2022, I was on the beach with some friends in Mount Maunganui over New Year's, just going, what is this technology that can talk back to me, write poems for my wife or stories for my children? And it's just gone from there, really just got the bug and haven't recovered.
Well, you sound like a lot of fun to go on holiday with, but I'm going to leave you now in Dave's capable hands. It's going to be a great practical workshop. Believe you're going to walk away with some amazing stuff you can be able to put into your day-to-day in the weeks coming. Dave, over to you.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim. And thanks, everybody, for turning up. It's so exciting to be talking to you. I really do genuinely love AI, and I really do believe I've got a really positive outlook around what AI can do for business. And this is talking from personal experience, not just, reading books or novels. I'm really hands-on with our business and what I do for customers around AI. And tonight, I'm going to be going back and forth between the slide deck. I don't expect you to read everything. There's sometimes a lot of words, but I really just am using it to facilitate a mixture of concepts I'll try and teach you, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know, right? So you don't know what this AI stuff is until I show you, and then I'll switch between that and actually demoing tech. But really, I'm trying to ask this question, which is, what is this AI thing and what does it mean for us and the business that we either own or work for? And the reality is, it probably means a lot. It feels to me like we're going through this massive time of change, right? I think back to, I don't think back to, I read about the car, right? Moving from horses to cars, or when the steam engine came out. This massive disruptive technologies that have come before us. Think about the day electricity came in, where people went, what the heck is this, right? Feels like that to me, right now. And being in tech for 15 years, I've seen a lot of technical changes, but none like this, to be honest. None that move this quickly either. None that have such a amazing opportunity for our businesses and for our personal lives. So really quickly, just who am I? I've been working in the family business for 15 years. My wonderful family over there, 3 kids under 5, are really embracing this chaos. And we're eating our own dog food. So I'm not, again, coming to you tonight with some theories. I'm really trying to live and breathe this. I've been really lucky enough that our business is around 30 people, and I've been freed up about a year ago to almost focus 100% of my time, or about 80% of my time, on AI for our own business and our customers. And I've done about 40 workshops where I just love talking to people and sharing the kinds of things that AI can do. And Tim, in his email, you may have got this, in his email to announce tonight, we actually surveyed everyone. And the results are in. And I wanted to show you just a little bit of the data that came out from you guys. It's nice to know who's in the room. And I certainly realized reading this data that we've got a lot of people in different parts that are different journeys, right? We've got people that are 1 to 5 employees, all the way through to 100+ employees, which is awesome. We've got lots of people that have never, ever touched AI, like Luke. And some people that are like really, really, really advanced, doing a whole lot of flashy stuff. But the really cool thing about AI is that actually I think it's amazing in the hands of non-technical people. Really, you don't have to be a technical person to really benefit from AI. So I'll show you one quick thing, and I'll do both a demo as well as show you something. I don't know about you, but I've seen my fair share of spreadsheets. And I think having worked with customers, one of the things I get, even pre-AI, is like, how do I get some insights out of this spreadsheet? Perhaps the things we've got to learn is like, I've got to learn Excel, or I've got to talk to my IT guy about this Power BI or dashboards or something like that. But the most amazing thing that I have found is that there are so many utilities to AI beyond the kind of ChatGPT, ask me a question, write me a better email scenario. One of those is visualizing data. So literally all I did, I'll show you exactly what I did. I said to the AI, this is Claude, by the way, you are an expert data visualization consultant. When given survey or business data, I want you to analyze it. Think audience, think comprehensive dashboards, focus on insights, design for impact, and tell a story. And when I got back, within about 3 minutes, I went and got tea, came back, and I came back to this wonderful website designed for me. And I only took the top 20 survey responses, and I saw that about 55% of us are dabbling in AI. 35% of the room are unsure about AI, and 60% are a small business. And I really like what it said down the bottom here. It said the bottom line, that we're all pretty much in the experimentation phase. Most of us are dabbling with basic tools like ChatGPT, but there's a real confidence gap. But the good news is we're tackling similar challenges around sales, marketing, and admin. There's a huge potential to learn from each other. And I read that. I was like, yeah, that's great. That's really, really accurate. I actually didn't change that. What I actually also saw is that it gave me 3 pages. This is pretty impressive, right? So imagine you've got a spreadsheet of customer data or internal data. Have you ever tried throwing it at the AI and saying, please visualize this for me? Because I tell you, it helps bring information to life. And I think we all live in worlds of spreadsheets. And I think as business owners, we could get so much value out of this one simple use case. We got a huge amount of small business here, but again, I said before, we got this good range. One thing I thought was kind of cool was that AI said this. Among people using AI, aka the dabblers, nearly half are feeling very unsure, and the other half are only somewhat confident. So we've got no confident dabblers in the room tonight. So if you're an unconfident dabbler, my goal for you is to be a confident dabbler by the end of the night. That'll be awesome. There's this wild article. So I've done a few presentations, and as I do these and prepare them, I find articles that are relevant, right? And I found this one back in February, and I've never dropped it off my talking list because it's just so intriguing. We've all heard these. I don't know if you've heard of the concept of AI agent before. AI is where we take this sort of ChatGPT chat, and then AI agent is where it can sort of start doing things. It's kind of a bit interesting and intriguing, right? This article out of the Fox says that the first AI real estate agent generates $100 million in real estate sales in Portugal. Pretty interesting. It's like, how on earth is it doing that? And the reality is it's doing that because the technology is enabling this for business. And it's going to happen more and more and more. So I guess the reality is we have to think about this stuff because tech is a tidal wave coming our way. And I think we really, really, really need to understand that. And I really encourage us to lean in on this tech. Just a few years ago, I think AI, people said, and I said this, AI wouldn't be creative, right? But it's generating incredible images and videos and poetry. AI wouldn't ever drive cars. AI wouldn't order our groceries. And yet people are demoing it online saying, I can talk to my AI and my groceries turn up. It's pretty wild in terms of what we can do with AI. And there's a few areas that AI is developing. It's kind of these 5. So we know ChatGPT, we know text, but it's happening in code. This is interesting for us as business people because code is software, right? It's also the way that our software talks to each other. So if we've got a CRM or a database, AI is helping us write scripts to push that data back and forth automatically, saving massive amounts of time potentially. It's happening in audio, in images, and in videos. Really, really common use cases for people that haven't dabbled in AI too much, or you're the unconfident dabbler, is to look at summarization. AI is really interesting about summarizing data, right? I was just talking to someone earlier and they said, I had a half-day task that I used to do. And then I just simply asked ChatGPT, summarize this website for me and do this thing. 5 minutes later, the job was done, and it was done at a high quality thing. So we don't just have to think about AI as a generate a story for me or generate a image for me. It can actually take data and summarize it, compare it. If we've got 2 invoices from a supplier, throw both at AI and say, compare this month to last month. There's so many use cases for comparison, summarization, which are just everyday tasks that we are so used to doing things the old way. We could probably save an hour a day minimum just with some basic low-hanging fruit use cases if we knew how to use them. This one's interesting, right? Multimodal, which means it's understanding images. I don't know about you, but when I stare at this sign, my brain sort of shuts down, right? I'm like, what is that sign? Can I park here or not? And I can say, hey, it's Wednesday at 4 p.m. Can I please park here? Tell me in one line. It says, yes, you can park here for 1 hour. And I think that one feature alone pays for my ChatGPT, for the lack of fines that I get these days. We've gone from like this image generation of DALL-E, right, which was an astronaut riding a horse as a pencil drawing or a koala dunking a basketball. And we've now gone to this thing called Nano Banana, if you've ever heard of it. It's Google's new tool and I'll just quickly show it to you because it's so interesting, where image generation is now an incredible thing. What I did was I got an image of a lounge room. So imagine your lounge room, right? Empty or not. I found these items. So take some notes. We have a bed, not made. We have a rug, a plant, some drapes. And I said something very basic to this AI model. Place the items in the bedroom thoughtfully and tastefully. And voila, the entire house was made. The throw is on the bed. The drapes are up. The exact pillows are there. The exact artwork is there. And I had another example. I was very inspired by Luke on Sunday when he gave us a really good business idea, guys. He said, sell water, tap water as artesian water. Remember that? From Sunday. And so what I did was I found this bottle of artesian water. And I also found this image of this beautiful setting. I said to the AI, place this bottle of artesian water in its place. And voila, the AI gave me this amazing photography, like setting. And then I said, well, I'll take it one step further. I'm gonna go to another tool, and I made a whole website, right? I said, I've got a new business line. Please create me a website. Make this my hero image. And I said, make a case study with Pastor Luke de Jong, how much he loves artesian water. I went and got some tea, came back 5 minutes later, and I had a whole website. And it said, Pure New Zealand, artesian water. It gave me this logo. And I scrolled down, and it said, born in Auckland, bred for purity. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. And I scrolled down, and we can see we got premium still, family pack, corporate solutions. And what our customers say, pure artesian water has been a blessing for our community. The exceptional quality and purity of their water is evident in every sip. Our family has been loyal customers for years, and we wouldn't trust our hydration needs to anybody else. And so if that's not impressive, then I can click a button, I can say, hey, do this thing for me, go get some coffee, come back and this is done. It's interesting, right? And I joke, but I'm also very serious. This power of AI is so much more than ChatGPT. I really encourage you to sort of break any potential mindset you have like, oh, it's just this chat thing. It's far beyond it. The agentic AI era we're in is very, very interesting and very significant. You know, what if I didn't do that one time? I've done this before. Open up 10 tabs, and I do 10 things, and I go away and get toffee, and I've got 10 websites. This is incredible leverage when you know how to leverage and wield AI, right? Imagine if you were, so I could have 10 alternative sites, which I then take the favorite, send that to my web developer and say, hey, I've done this design, can you please make it look like this? And you've actually taken what used to take, let's say I'm an owner, and I have this passion in my heart for a new site, genuinely. I've been in so many situations with customers that spent months or years realizing their dreams. Now I can create artesian water in 8 minutes. It's wonderful, right? This is really, really, truly quite interesting. In the hands of the right people, we really, truly can get a lot of it. So there's a little inspiration. And the other thing, we've got music. Okay, so we've got Drake AI. So this is if you've ever heard of Drake before, he's a rapper. He's quite famous on Twitter when an AI song was written like him. We've also got Tim AI. So see what we have is, I was using AI to research life in Auckland, right? And by the way, this is actually a good tip for you. Ask ChatGPT about your own business. I promise you that's a very interesting thing to do because I've been in many situations where I've done that in front of a customer and they go, that's wrong information. It doesn't tell me. But then it's sourced and they go, actually, no, it's right. I found the source that's telling the wrong information. And they call them up and say, change your blog, please. Our site we don't have 3 sites anymore, we've got 8. Or you know what I mean? So Google ChatGPT your own business, please. That's great. But the more important thing is here, I used AI to write us a song. Can we hit this song, please? And I'm gonna have the lyrics so we can read along. And believe it or not, this is 100% AI with my direction.
From the marketplace to the altar, we've got a story to tell. Pastor Paul had a dream back in 91. Build a church in the city till the kingdom come. From Mount Eden to Melbourne, the vision grew wide. Now Tim's in the house saying business, let's ride. God's got the blueprint. Who brings the tools? Who brings the tools? Who builds the plan? Business hand in hand. Who builds the way? With wisdom and grace. And the Spirit's leading all day long. All day long.
Hit it.
That's like business. Oh, that's like business. Faith and work building side by side. That's like business. Yeah, that's like business. From the boardroom table to the Spirit's guide. That's like business. Oh, that's like business. Cheering us on when the road gets tough. That's like business. Yeah, that's like business. With God in the center, His grace is enough.
Let's play that down. Oh, wow. So that's AI, right? That's AI. Now, believe it or not, I had to direct that, right? It was my intuition. I made 10 songs and I canned 9. I knew what I would like us to hear. And I think this is interesting as a parallel for AI, as some people think I'm totally offloading my brain. But no, I actually really spent time making that with AI. Now, it was an incredible song. It got me up, dancing in my living room more than once, to be honest. I've played that in my car driving just because it comes in my head. And I've actually made a whole album. You can have that for $3.99. No, you can. No, but if you are speaking at a reception or got a birthday, or it's your mother's birthday and she wants a song, just let me know. I'll make you a song. I've made many songs for my mother. She's cried every time. It's been wonderful. Just because it's AI doesn't mean it doesn't hit the heartstrings. Do you know what I mean? So what's possible with AI? And it feels like absolute magic. Even after 2 or 3 years using AI every day, it still kind of blows my mind how this stuff works, to be honest. It's like I drive my car. I don't know how it works. I just know it does work. And it is incredible. It helps us to make faster decisions, more accurate work. We get greater insights, less tedious work. And it's happening at light speed. But as a business, right? And there's a whole lot of individual contribution improvements, right? I, as a CEO, or you as a leader, I reckon, target 10, 15, 20, 50% productivity improvement with AI. You should have a goal for yourself. Imagine if you got 50% more productive. It's amazing. Why not think that big? Why not double your productivity, right? But then as a company, how do we actually make this happen across our company? And that's where we take Gen AI, right? This multilingual, it's trained on multiple languages. It's trained on the world's knowledge. It's faster than our hands and eyes. I type it like 50 words a minute. AI types it like 8,000 words a minute. It's pretty interesting when I give it the right prompt, something is happening very, very fast. And I can have an iteration loop with that thing, double check it, and be done in 8 minutes what used to take me an entire day. It's pretty interesting. And I go, what do I do for the rest of my day now? I used to do this thing so slowly, now I do it really fast. Makes me reinvent my own work. And then you go, okay, We have this Gen AI stuff, which is great, right? Chat GPT. But how does it work with our world? So our IP, our policies, our procedures, our legislation, our data, and our tone of voice. How do we do that? And I think that's where we really get magic as an organization. I reckon, just an encouragement from our little green friend, that we have to really unlearn what we have learnt to really benefit from the AI, because it's really forcing me and forcing us to reinvent the way that we do things. So in this next little while, I want to go through kind of just because it helps me think departmental, right? Because like, how do I use AI? So for me, when I break it down, I'm like, okay, how does it work in sales? How does it work in operations, in finance? I start to kind of get a little bit clearer on the potential use cases, and there are many. So the next little while, I'm going to throw up some statements, and I'm going to do some demos, okay? We're going to go back and forth. So learning in data. So again, I shared earlier that example of the spreadsheet to the visual. How much do we have data flying everywhere, all the time? If we've been in business for a few years, we've probably got a gold mine of data, to be honest. Thousands of records of history, customer service data, what went really well and what didn't go so well. Orders, PDFs, all sorts of things. We ask the questions, what can we do with that? Try tools like deep research. I'll show you that. Try tools like Notebook LM. I'm going to show you Notebook LM as a tool. Ever heard of Notebook LM before? Some would have, right? I saw 3 hands. That's wonderful. It's like 1% of the room. Okay, so Notebook LM is a very interesting tool that you can use, again, absolutely free. Let me just quickly try and find it. Oh, here it is. So, genuine use case. What is Notebook LM? Well, what it is this ability for me to add data, okay, on the left. You can see one PDF. And then we've got, Google has allowed us to do things with that data, right? So in the middle, there's a summary. And on the right-hand side, there is other things, right? One example I've done for myself was this one here, raising thriving teens. Now, this is not, I don't have teenagers, as you know. My kids are very small, but I just found this example, right? So you can see on the left there, 9 sources of information. So to personalize this for your business, imagine 9 YouTube videos. Imagine 9 documents for your industry. Imagine your brand guidelines and 3 previous quotes. Think about the data as what you are working with. And in this example, I said, summarize it. So it gave me a summary. But the amazing thing about Notebook LM is it gives us visuals. I can click this button, play, and it's made me this little video, right? Like a little animation, evidence-based parenting. Now, I've just realized again, my audio is not really working, so it might not work, it doesn't matter. Just trust me, when I say this is like an 8-minute video, which was made fully by AI, and it talks over the video. So it's like, how do I turn my data into a podcast? It's pretty wild. Another example that I had actually was, again, sorry, Luke, for picking on you, man. I just grabbed one of Luke's sermons and I turned it into a podcast. It's already a sermon. I just thought, as an example, I created a study guide out of it. So imagine that, right? We take what was one piece of information and we go, I want to dig into that more. How can I do that? I have one customer that had a 200-page document come out of the government, and she said, oh, that's a very long document. I have to read this. And it's like my entire company should read this. But she knew that not everyone's going to read that. In fact, probably 3 people out of 100 would read it. So we turned it into a podcast for her. 15 minutes, very easily digestible, and the entire organization was able to be caught up, right? So that's how we can use, some examples of how we can use data as our knowledge partner. And there's a little teaching thing here. Prompt, I want to just share a principle, which is how do we use AI to get the most out of AI? Because I think we probably, I certainly know for me, when I first started using AI, I was like, what do I talk to you about? It's like, it's this blank screen. And I was like, okay, make me a recipe for my dinner with 6 friends. Okay. And by the way, that's voice transcription, okay? Just while that's loading, I can speak about 4 times faster than I type, right? I get a lot of email. I'm sure you do as well. And so I've really, really built a habit of simply clicking one button on my Mac, talking to my Mac for 5 minutes. I say, hey, John, thanks for the email. Appreciate your email. Great. Let go, and it just pastes in there. And you would see that that's actually perfect, like 100% perfect. It gave me the commas, the full stops, the grammar, everything. And when you get into the habit of talking to your computer, and it's transcribing with a good transcription software, by the way, that one's called Whisper Flow, if anyone wants to write it down, WISPR. It's really, really good transcription. Beats the pants off anything from Google and Apple right now. So back to my point of using AI. One of the most important things of using AI, principles you should learn, tuck away, write down, is what do we talk about with AI and how we prompt matters absolutely massively. Okay, if you've ever said to AI something and you've gotten a result back and you're like, man, that does not sound like me at all. I actually overheard it at a cafe this morning. Someone was talking about it. And they said, oh, I tried this thing and it didn't work. And I asked the question, well, did you tell AI what you sound like? Have you ever told AI what you sound like? Have you ever said to AI, you know what, I like this and this and this, and these are the things that I've done before, and I really like this and I don't like that? Because if you haven't, you've actually, AI can't read our mind, believe it or not. And so there's this example that I like to use, which is I've got this recipe, right? And I'll share a little model, which stands for RICEQ, right? RICEQ. R is roll, right? This is actually a prompting technique where we tell the AI what role it should take. Okay, so are you a pirate? Are you a children's storyteller? Are you a business analyst? Are you a coach, a friend, right? We actually tell the AI its role. The reason is because AI has got so much knowledge, it needs to be steered in the right way. And if it does not get this clear, it can actually go off tangents, right? You may have already experienced that. R is role. I is for instruction. So what is the thing I'm trying to get this AI to do? So I'm trying to ask you for this. C is incredibly important, as is E. C is context, right? Context really, really matters for AI. Incredibly. In fact, if you've ever done poor prompts before and you start to use better prompting, you will know straight away how much good context is. E is for examples. Okay, so this is where I say, I want this kind of meal. I actually love this meal from this place. It's an example, right? AI then goes, I know what you mean now. Because you think about it, if AI knows every dish of everything on the planet, it's just going to be like, I just decided to pick you the Malaysian one. And you're like, oh, no, I meant this one. So you steer it with examples. And then Q is actually a really interesting one as well. And if you've never done this before, I'd recommend you do it. You ask AI to ask you questions. It's kind of like a reversal. It's like the reverse prompt. You say, hey, AI, ask me questions so that you understand me. And I've sat in the room with a customer before, and he had this big problem, right? And it was really interesting. I said, no, let's try an experiment. I want you to tell me this problem. I'm going to ask AI right now in front of you. I'm going to get AI to ask you questions. I'm going to watch, and I'm going to drive. And we got a 20-page document written in 1 hour. And he said, man, we would have taken a month to do that before. And I said, yeah, man, 1 hour. We got more work done in an hour than he has in like 6 months, because half the time he was just overthinking it. And he needed to be asked the questions to get the output. So it's an amazing technique to be able to get us as business leaders have so many thoughts going on in our brain. Sometimes I don't know what to ask for. So I say, I want this thing, ask me some questions to then answer to give you more insights. It's actually an amazing thing. You should definitely try it. So an alternative to my make me dinner is something like this. So you go, you are a 3 Michelin star chef. You make the best meals ever. Better than any chef known to man. I'm desperate. Dinner is tomorrow night and I've got no plans. I've got 6 people coming over for dinner. I need a menu. I'm talking appetizer, dinner, dessert. I want wine pairings. My friend Steve, he just loves a good barbecue, but you know, my wife, she's a vegetarian. My other friend, he's Scandinavian and he really likes a good Scandinavian meal. And his wife's Malaysian, so kind of a strange match, but hey, it's all good. Help me to make this amazing meal, please. Okay, Right, now, by the way, that was all just, hey, look, actually you're fully right? So just, there we go. So now we've got this amazing, much better outcome, right? We've got this AI which is like empathetic towards me. Hey, look, here's how I'd craft a showstopper menu. Okay, to tie Steve's love of barbecue with your wife, vegetarian preference, your Scandinavian friend's palate, and his Malaysian wife's cravings. Here we go. Appetizer, main course, the wine pairings, the dessert, the after dinner. Make me an image of this lovely dinner. Now, I'd actually ask AI to now create me an image, right? So I can share it with my friends over a text message to try and entice them into what we're about to experience. But this, again, is a silly example of a meal, but how does this work in your business, right? It's exactly the same. This is a concept. Take this as a concept. Don't just, you can, of course, go home and make amazing meals. Feel free. But, think about how you're preparing for a sales meeting. Think about how you're preparing or thinking about a management meeting, or you've just come out of a situation. You're talking to AI. You want insights. You want to help. You want a thinking buddy to think through something. The way that you talk to AI, like I've just said, massively dictates the output. And this takes practice. It's like a muscle. It's like a guitar. When I first picked up a guitar, it sounded really bad. I learned the rhythm. You've got to learn chords. And eventually, piece by piece, brick by brick, you actually learn how to use AI. It's like a language. There's a fluency to using AI. It takes practice. And I really, really encourage you to really to lean in on this and to practice. It's just like anything else, okay? It's a technique. I'm not doing anything that you can't do here, okay? It's just that I've got a couple of years practice. Now, look at this image. ChatGPT, right? It's also quite a good model. So one I used before was Gemini, if you're taking notes. This one's ChatGPT. It's a lot slower. You can see it kind of like just appears on the page. It's like someone's literally there drawing it in real time. Whereas the other one just kind of, but look at that. Wow. Now I text my friend, guys, look at what I've done. Look at this. Come, I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you. Come on now. How good is that? So that's a little bit right there. Now I've done something interesting, right? I've created a live business GPT. Now, why did I do this? Let me teach you a concept. I've just talked to you about how important knowledge is, right? How when AI gets knowledge, it's better. So what I've done, I've eaten my own dog food again. I've taken my own advice, and I took my entire presentation deck. By the way, Tim gave me way too long to prepare for this. So I actually prepared probably 5 hours of talking, and I made about 150 slides, and I was like, man, I gotta cut this back. So I cut it way back, and here we are with this hour. But what I did was I kept that entire 150 point slide deck, and I threw it into a custom GPT. So now, anyone in the room can go to this custom GPT and chat with it. Let's have a try. So I go to custom GPT. So this is actually another thing, by the way. So this is, I'm demoing and I'm sharing concepts at the same time. A custom GPT, you might ask, what is that? It's where you can create your own little custom GPT. All right, okay, that's in the name. It's a little custom version of ChatGPT. And what does this really mean? If I click on the left there, Life Business GPT, I can now say something like this. Where do I start? And look what AI says. Without any more context, it says, oh, you were there at the 16th. Great. What's one thing that stood out? Let's start simple. Tell me a little about what you do. What kind of business are you in? What role do you have day to day? And actually, I've programmed AI with my entire slide deck so you can all just ask it and you can say, oh, that song was awesome. How do I get it? And it will be like, oh yeah. Okay, let's have a look. Does it know the answer? Hopefully. I know the interview was pretty, there we go. I'm thinking about the slides and music from AI, the whole deck. Here's the link, click the link, and you go straight to the slide deck, which has, there we go. So it's gonna have everything in it, and you can click the song from there. So, but again, it steers you back to asking the question, which is how are you gonna apply this stuff to your business? But again, the lesson here, okay, so if you've missed that, I'll just cover it one more time. A custom GPT is where we can take our knowledge, so in this case, it's my PowerPoint deck, put it into a chatbot, and then we can chat with it, right? So what are the applications of this? Well, let me show you one example of our business. We've created our own IT360 marketing mastermind. I don't know about you, but we don't have marketing on our staff. So one day, a year ago or so, we had to engage a marketing company. We spent all this money on brand guidelines and knew this and knew that. It was expensive. And some of the times you kind of just leave it there collecting dust, right? But I was talking to Callum, our GM, and I said, man, what if we created our own custom GPT? And we dropped our brand strategy, our discovery, and our website review into the custom GPT. So now when AI talks to me, it's taking that knowledge. I can say anything. Make me a social media post about AI. Now, I give it a very basic prompt because the prompt is already baked in to the chat GPT, right? So what we do is we actually pre-bake all of the knowledge into this custom GPT, number one. So it makes it easy for us to use. And number two, this is a shareable asset. Okay, this is actually where the power truly comes in for a business, right? You imagine a custom GPT which is used across 3 or 5 or 10 or 50 people. I upload my knowledge and I share that with 50 people. When they chat with this thing, they're going to get consistent answers back. And if I upgrade that thing, every person benefits immediately. This is how we take a good idea and we actually create organization-wide impact, right? We're not just improving one person's prompt, but our entire marketing team now has a custom GPT that if they say, I want a new thing for this, boom, the answers are there. They don't have to tap their colleague every single time so-and-so changes. Just one person manages this custom GPT, everybody benefits. Does that make sense as a concept? So it's this feature inside of ChatGPT. Again, one last feature, one last sort of way to personalize this was, before my third kid, I should admit, I actually went to the gym pretty regularly, and I really liked this guy, Dr. Mike. Okay, so he had these YouTube videos, and he had these lectures. They're all obviously online, public. I took about 10 hours of him talking, and I put them into a ChatGPT custom GPT. Right? I just uploaded all of these transcripts. It's like 10 hours of him talking. So now when I ask this, make me a workout for tomorrow's chest day, I don't have to worry about the AI giving me some random thing from some random other place, right? I could be so vague, and this AI now goes, oh yeah, based on what Dr. Mike's advice is, here's how I will give you a chest day. And it's all based on that knowledge. So again, the applications are absolutely, look at this, let's do it. Dr. Mike style, effective hypertrophy, fatigue aware, painful in the right ways. Here's Dr. Mike inspired chest. How could you, question, pause and reflect. How could you apply this in your business, right? Where in your sales process? What if I've got 5 amazing killer sales proposals which always win? Put them in there. Ask your sales guy to be like, here's my sales proposal, judge it for me. You missed this detail, you did this, here's probably how you could improve it. What if now you've just leveraged AI as a trainer for your organization? What if you had policy, procedure, and you said, hey, what's our leave policy? AI goes, boom, there it is, based on the document. Think about how we can share knowledge across an organization, and wow, it's just like the mind sort of boggles about how you, really, the concept is really quite simple. Where is my knowledge? Where are my bottlenecks? Where do I want consistency? Where do I have inconsistent answers? Could I create a custom GPT with that in and have my staff or myself go there, and it's really going to help create some outcomes, if it makes sense. So there's the Life Business GPT. If you wanted to, basically it's basically chat with my PDF. Is really the simple part of it. Customer service, your always on support team. Now in our IT business, I took the approach of how do I improve every customer service experience? And it was not put AI chatbots in. No, that wasn't relevant to our business. It might be for some, but it's not for ours. The question I actually asked was, okay, what's stopping our current team from doing their best work? And it might be, for example, in the IT space, it's quite a complex world, right? You've got hundreds of customers with thousands of configuration alternatives. You've got loads of engineers that are all learning different things at different paces. You've got technology changes every other day. How can I solve that? So one of the ways that we solved this was actually with custom software, which we made ourselves. And it's just very simple. It's just when a customer requests something, our AI retrieves relevant knowledge and gives it to the engineer, right? That might have been a 5 to 8 minute task before, where the engineer retrieves the thing and goes hunting. And instead of doing that, AI is doing that part for them so that the engineer has the ticket, the AI enhanced summaries and context. Hey, customer just raised this last week, you should probably know about that. Or, this order was done like this. Imagine, again, how AI is not replacing the human at all. In fact, it's just giving the human the ability to get onto the problem within 30 seconds, not 8 minutes, right? And across hundreds of tickets, this really is quite meaningful for our business. And it's meant that we, actually, our team lead showed the stats, and our customer service has gone up and up and up and up the last 6 months. It's been a wonderful thing for us to see. I'm actually seeing real, tangible results, not just of that one thing, of course, but it's like a compounding effect of many, many things. Sales and lead gen, and I know that I've got not a lot of time to tell you. I had 5 hours content. Sales and lead gen, sales is so important, right? So one of the biggest things, I want to share a couple of thoughts here around sales, right? Or not just sales, imagine it's just consulting, imagine just meetings, okay, in general. But how our salespeople, they aren't the ones that spend the time in the office across the spreadsheets, right? They're the ones out in the field with people. And I think that's always something that I always come back to, right? How does AI free up the person to do what the people need, right? Got lots of passionate people doing paperwork. How's that for alliteration, right? We got boring, brilliant people doing boring work, right? How do we free up our people to do better work? Which often is, how do we help our people be with people? And so my sales guy should be with a person, but they're currently doing blank instead. I'm doing something. Everyone's got a situation where maybe they only spend half of their time actually doing the thing that they're hired for. So the question becomes, well, what are we gonna do with the other half? And so for me, again, some really, really low-hanging fruit was around how do we free up our team? And honestly, one of the quickest and easiest things we did was just call record our meetings. And this is, of course, in your situation, apply it to yourself. We ask permission. We've done all the security and all the privacy stuff, but assume that's all taken care of. It's an amazing thing to have a call recording for a number of reasons. Number one is you can transcribe that call, which means, again, you think about the knowledge thing, right? Imagine if I put 100 transcripts into a GPT, and I said to the GPT, what are the most common questions I get from customers? Give me some insights into the pushbacks we get, and then you give that data to the marketing team. Who else is capturing all that? No one, right? But what if we could use data in smart ways? So what is the data? And in this example, it's the transcript, which has come from a call. But secondly, of course, is just in the moment, a transcript becomes the piece of work that we've just talked about. And what I want to do with that transcript, well, I want to action something, right? So for me, a transcript, what I used to do is I'd have a meeting and I'd be quite anxious some of the time. I'd be worried about not taking all the notes, right? When I know that the transcript is occurring, I'm actually way more present in the meeting, okay? It's kind of like a secondary benefit from call recording. I find myself that I'm more present. I can deliver more of myself because I'm not so worried about capturing every little detail because I know it's being recorded. But of course, once I've got a transcript, and this is an example, I've redacted the names, I can now grab this transcript and again, take it back to ChatGPT. I'll, just for interest of time, I'm just gonna say, summarize this meeting. Okay, now, a very bad prompt, but once again, chuck the entire thing at the AI. You'll be surprised that AI can handle this in its sleep. There's this one little thing here which says, thinking longer for better answer. And I think that's an interesting thing. And if you have just a little thought experiment, you should click on that and read its own thoughts. It's actually very interesting, right? Now, what I actually said to this AI, I'm gonna click skip just to speed it up, was to summarize the meeting. Have you ever done this before? You might have a paper software that does this. I do. It's called Fireflies. It's really, really good. But again, I'm trying to encourage us to think critically about using AI, right? Don't just outsource your brain. Think critically. So what I actually do is I do pay for the Fireflies, which takes the recordings, but I always, more often than not, I'll take the recording and do my own prompting. And it's not until you do that again, like a fluency of a guitar or a language, you get to start challenging. I would encourage you to challenge AI almost every single time. You might say something like this. Think hard about what you've just told me and give it another look. Even if I thought it was good, you know what? Just saying that will inevitably give you a better result than the first pass. It's the same as a human. If I said to my friend, let's pick on Steve because he's out there, hey man, tell me everything you know about electricity in 1 minute. He's gonna just be like, this. If I gave him 5 minutes to think and say, okay, do it again, he's gonna have like way more succinct answers. He's gonna think of the things that he forgot about the first time around, right? Same with AI. AI is just a predictive model. It just tells you like a stream of thought. And if you tell it to think, literally, tell it to think. Say, think, please. It will actually do that. It will do the thinking. And it will know what it's told you before. And it goes, oh, this user's told me that the first time wasn't that great. Okay, I'll do a better job. And it will do a better job. So now we get a better result. And I want to show you one more thing on this, which is that I recommend you start thinking about your organization and those use cases I'm talking about, and you build what's called a prompt library. Okay, this is where we actually take the prompts that work for our business and we start, again, thinking of them like organizational assets. So I've created this for myself, right? I've called it like a detailed meeting notes. Process the provided transcript, create a comprehensive structured meeting summary. I then outline the summary. I'm being extremely detailed about what I want. I don't want AI making this stuff up for me. One day it does this, the next day it does this. I want what I want, right? Because I have thought about this and I've tried it and I've tested it and I've gone, this works for me. A structure, a title, a date, attendees, overall purpose, key decisions, points, decisions made, action items, key quotes. Now you'd be surprised if I go copy, paste, back to ChatGPT one more time, and I paste this at the start, right? I'll do like a little line, I might just do like a little thing like that, and I'll go back to the thing one more time, this one little adjustment, right? Now what I've done is I've effectively done what's called prompt engineering, which is I've put some thought into this, right? And I've told the AI very, very specifically what I want. And I really think when we do this, the results are black and white sometimes. Okay, so one example I did the other day, I got a 400-word response from the AI. I did the word count. I did this, and I got a 1,500-word response. And I wanted it longer, by the way. But I would have missed so much detail had I not asked the AI the way that I wanted to. So now what we can see is the meeting summary. We can see the full list of attendees, the overall purpose, the discussion points. And I was in this meeting, so I can critically think about this. And I can tell you, this is exactly what happened. Oliver noted this, the AI opportunities for this company. This is a specific quote that I said. The current workflow insights, AI scoping, phasing rollout, data, tools, hosting, cost, decisions made, action items. Like this is so key quotes. This is so helpful, right? A summary may not be that helpful. You're like, oh, okay, that was kind of useful. Well, that's kind of not that bad. But when you see it against something better, right? You go, oh, okay, that actually could be useful. So what I would recommend is a little takeaway. Start building out these prompts, right? Actually, a really, really good tip. Let me show you an example of this food, right? I'm just showing you this. No, I won't do that. That's going to derail me. What I'll do is let's pretend like I've just worked with AI 3 or 4 times. I've said no, that's not good. I want this better, and it comes back, and you're like, little tweak. Let's say you're 4 or 5 chats in. What do? You say, we've just had a conversation about my meeting. I now need you to create me a system prompt so I get the answer I just got this last time, but I got it the first time. All right, now you're asking AI to write you a system prompt, right? Or a prompt. The AI then goes, boom, you're an expert business analyst. And it literally gives you the verbatim prompt to get you the output that you wanted, right? This is such a great hack. You're asking AI to give you AI help for AI. This is awesome. This is fantastic, right? And it's a really big shortcut, right? So you're going, I got this thing, I want to do this task. I work with AI, first prompt was bad, second was better, third was better, fourth, that was perfect, that last one, great, do that again. Ask AI, give me the prompt, get us to that last one. New chat, prompt, paste, boom, output, perfect, happy days. Email all staff, use this, send, right? Or Custom GPT, use this, please, I've just made it. And imagine if your entire company was doing that for sales, for marketing, for operations, for finance, across the board, how quickly you can sort of imagine the AI adoption just rises, right? And you just go, oh my goodness. What I expected was like this little adoption, but no, we're like 20% more productive now in like 6 months, 3 months. What is that gonna do for us? This is awesome. It's kind of wild, right? I'm really getting short on time, 10 minutes. 10 minutes, okay. 10 minutes. This is really hard. Preachers, man, this is really tough. You just must be in the same situation I'm in. Just I want to keep talking. Now, I want to show you something a little different, okay? You okay to show you something a little different? Okay, so I've just shown you some ways to take the meeting recording. I'm going to take us outside of GPT now, okay? Into a couple of areas. One is presentation. So I'm going to say, can you turn this chat into a 8-slide PowerPoint? Just give me the outputs so I can present this to my customer. Okay. Now remember, I've done the effort. I've actually talked, right? So it's not like I'm not doing something myself here. I was the one talking, right? I'm just having AI do the heavy lifting of taking what I already said and having it turn into, no. Just output the words, not a PowerPoint document, pretty please. Okay, now AI's getting too smart for itself, right? I used to ask that question and it just did this. And now it's like, no, I'll just generate you the entire PowerPoint and download it. Like that's actually quite a cool feature, but it wasn't what I wanted. So what I wanted was this. It's now taken what I had worked with AI on, created me a slide deck. So let's look at this, right? I can copy and paste slide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I would take way longer than I'm about to actually work on this. There's a tool called Gamma. Okay, Gamma's really, really cool. It's really interesting. Apparently they've updated their tool since this morning when I looked in here. Okay, there we go. That's how fast things change, okay? Paste in. There's like 3 options. Paste, generate, import. Paste, click, paste. Come down. Okay, we have a couple of options and then we're done. I want a presentation. Come on down. Generate notes, summarize, or preserve. Sometimes I want it to not change the words. Like I've already done the work, it should not, don't change. Sometimes it's like I've written lots of words, I want it condensed. And sometimes I've written no words at all, and I want it expanded. Let's, in this example, just go generate notes. Click. Okay, so again, the way I used to do things was that I would take potentially hours upon hours upon hours, or minutes upon minutes upon minutes, creating PowerPoint slides. Nowadays with AI, and this is just one of the tools out there, but this is one I love. You can just go get your cup of tea, stare at the screen as your PowerPoint creates itself right in front of you. Okay, so the chat that I had with this customer all of a sudden now gets transformed. And if you're my customer in this room, and you've seen a couple of others, just please just ignore that. Like that was totally, I didn't do it for you, I did it for someone else. No, I promise, no. But like, why would you want me spending more time than I have to, right? We all want to spend our time with the customer. I want to spend a whole day doing something. If I can just be like off talking to my staff right now while it's developing for me in the background. And this concept of like, how can tasks operate without me? It's a pretty wild thought, to be honest. And this is a very, very easy use case. This costs all of about $10 a month. Okay, Gamma. In fact, there's actually a free version. And it's an amazing tool. You can change the theme. I can have this green, black, white, whatever. And again, the process was, I took some context. Okay, so it was my thinking, it was my discussion. I asked GPT to turn it into a slide deck. I pasted it and clicked enter, and within 1 minute I have slide deck. So I have a meeting. 1 minute later, I have my presentation. I tell the customer, I'll be ready in a week, and I've already done it a minute later, okay? Imagine how quick an organization, what are the things that slow us down, right? It's this kind of stuff, which again, can be amazing for us. One other example of post-sale for me, which is a little different, I'm gonna share just a little screen. You might be familiar with this application on the left, it's called Microsoft To Do. And on the right, we got Telegram. Why Telegram? Well, I'll just say hi to my Telegram. What I've done, and hopefully you can read this, but it's just hi, down here. This is just an example, it says, hi Dave, good to hear from you. Now, this is a human? No, it's not a human, it's not a human. I have actually built an AI agent, okay? What's an AI agent, you ask? An AI agent is just an AI, like a brain. Like imagine an AI was a brain, right? We're just talking, and a mouth. It's talking to me. But imagine if AI could then do things for me. And in this example, I've actually, with software, coded this AI to have access to my to-do list and my email. Not my email, my entire email, just to send me an email. Sorry, it's got its own inbox. Not my inbox, it's got its own inbox. So what are the use cases for this, you might ask? Well, just imagine again a situation that you might find yourself in, because I find myself in it. I'm overwhelmed with things to do. So many things in my brain. How do I get on top of it? I've just had a meeting with a customer, and then I get calls, and blah, blah, blah. So I walk around now and say, I've just had a call with a customer. It was a really good call. They remind me to talk to James about the solar panel pricing. I also need you to email me a thanks to Tim for having me at Life Business. It was an awesome event. I had a lot of fun talking to the team. I just hope everyone had enjoyed that. And also just remind me, I really should do this, to buy my wife some flowers. I've spent too much time thinking about AI recently. Hit that, right? And I just send it to I put my phone in my pocket, and I again walk away, right? And I hope that the AI goes, oh, processing your request. Great to hear the customer call went well. I'll get those tasks sorted for you right away. And boom, talk to James about solar panel pricing. AI has just added an ask, this is different than ChatGPT, right? This is AI putting things on my to-do list. Buy flowers for wife. Talk to James about panel pricing. And if I go to my email, I might see an email. Oh, look. Thank you. Oh, it's live. Okay, there's one fail, okay, in the whole night. One live. I should have said more clearly, live. I wanted to thank you for having me at a Live Business. Now, this is why I don't have AI send emails to customers. I have them send it to me. I copy, paste, edit, send. But just imagine, right, a situation where you're in, where we are overwhelmed with information. We want to offload. Imagine, again, this customer meeting example. We are on sales here. I have a meeting with a customer. As I'm walking to the car, I say, email me this thing, remind me about this thing, he needs to check this thing, I need to do this, talk to legal, talk to accounts, blah, 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 blah. Phone in pocket, drive. My admin sorted, right? Imagine if you're a clinician working with people and you need to offload your thoughts. Imagine if you're a pastor and you're wanting to capture thoughts quickly in the CRM. Imagine any situation where I'm in and I need to capture ideas. Imagine if I was a Sparky wanting to timesheet my day, or a health and safety officer capturing things. Like this idea of an input where I need to offload something and have AI add something to a system. It's a pretty out the gate idea, but it's a current reality, okay? So this is an example of how I have empowered very safely an AI to send me emails. And it's got its own email inbox, right? AI at. It just has access to send, that's it. And it's hard-coded to send it to me. It can't go off the rails sending to anybody. It's just to me. All right, so this is an example of an AI that can do things for us. And I just put some thoughts here. Log timesheets, report health and safety. And this is going a little bit kind of semi-advanced, but I wanted to open your mind up to what's possible here, right? Because you might be thinking to yourself, oh, we could use it for that. I could walk around my warehouse and stock take. We do this with paper right now. I could do it with my voice. What? This is crazy. Finance automation, the ultimate number cruncher. A quick little visual. This is just an example of a workflow, right? And I've got 2 minutes left. I'm going to explain this one thought. This is just one really cool story for a customer. And it's a really common story, especially in my line of work, which we deal with small businesses. This client of mine had 3 people doing ordering, right? Three wonderful girls. And they were really, really busy doing that work. One of the girls got pregnant, had to go on leave. It's fine. One of the girls resigned, leaving poor old one girl to do this job by herself, completely overwhelmed and completely slammed, engaged us in some automation. We ended up automating their entire purchase order in process. And it's so cool that they did that. They did not know or foresee what would happen, but they actually ended up going through some pretty challenging times as a company. And it meant that they had the resources freed up to be able to handle those situations. Their GM had an issue and he went AWOL. And they had to, basically bring in more people. And they would not have been able to survive that moment had they not automated some of the processes that they had automated. So it was a really, really cool story of how automation really, really, really helps. And this is an example of the application we built for them, where we actually have orders on the left, purchase orders in the middle, and the extracted AI process on the right. And what used to take an 8 or 10 minute process per PDF now was just like a review. Human looks at it, click approve. Human looks, click approve. That went from a 3-person job down to a half-person job. The other 2 roles were backfilled into other areas they needed to invest in. This is a fantastic win-win-win for the business. Marketing is an amazing thing. I'm going to carry on going because I have no time. I want you to write some stuff down. Check out agent mode. Agent mode is where an AI operates for you. An example of that was I was in my office and I saw this camera gear and I was like, go and catalog this for me. AI then looked at TradeMe, looked at Facebook Marketplace, looked on the internet and gave me a report after 30 minutes on everything it found. Agent mode's amazing. I thought to myself, I could go to my garage and probably find $1,000 worth of stuff to put on Facebook just by going snap, 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 snap. Please tell me what this is and go and search the internet. Imagine if our whole entire room did that. Probably have $500,000 of dollars generated from this entire room with all our garage stuff that we could sell on Facebook, right? With no work. Just like ChatGPT, sell my stuff for me, please. Marketing, right? So one thing I really wanted just to share as I close, I'm going to do this. You have my chat. I want to respect the time because I know I'm over, so I'm going to just wrap up there. The last thing I wanted to say was just, I really encourage you to start. As I see, I'm going to perfectly time this, as Tim's walking up, I really encourage you to start. And don't be overwhelmed with the use cases. Pick one model. Set yourself a 30-day challenge to use AI every day. If you're unaware what to ask for, ask AI what to ask for. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. Can we give Dave a massive, massive hand? You've been so generous.
Oh, of course.
Now, I know you are just busting to get out more and really support the business community.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in going in a little bit more depth, Dave is actually speaking at our first Life Business Night School starting in term 4 on the 6th of October. I think we'll have the details up on the screen. And you've got an interesting concept that you want to experiment with on that night. Yeah.
I was just dreaming up what this could be. And again, just taking my own personal experience where AI has genuinely unlocked things in my own life. And I've had dreams that I've thought, oh man, it was so cool to do this thing. And only since AI's come along have I been able to do that. And I know you've all got dreams in your heart, right? Or things that you maybe haven't done yet. So I thought to myself, what if we could create a business from scratch in 2 hours? Using all the tools that I've just shown you, but we'll just go deep in it. I thought it was a pretty out there concept, but I reckon it's possible. We can start with a concept, go marketing, go website, almost go live, potentially without the company registration. It's just everything else in 2 hours.
So we're going to give that a go at our night school. Night school's 5 sessions. We get in industry experts to talk about faith in business and equip you with skills. If that does sound interesting, would love to see you there. It's a smaller, more intimate environment, so take the details for that. But Dave, thank you once again for an awesome session.
Oh, thank you.
As Dave goes, what I'd love you to do is just turn to your neighbour now and just share one element, one aspect of tonight which you're going to put into play in the coming weeks.